Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 11 of Dunk's Movie Podcast. I am your host, Duncan. Dunk, obviously, Dunk's Movie Corner. This is where I kind of break down what I watched every week in film and TV or media of any kind of sort. Granted, it's like 99% just movies. And give my opinions and recommendations and things you should or shouldn't check out yourselves. This is, again, almost a companion podcast to the Movie Bros podcast, which is where I chat about a movie with my brother Hayden, and we kind of break it down and ramble and banter about it. So if you want to check that out, that's also on Spotify. If you wanted to check either podcast out on Instagram, I am at Dunk's Movie Corner Pod, and we are at the movie underscore bros on Instagram. If I sound a little funky this week, I do apologize. I'm kind of got a scratchy throat, kind of stuffy nose. 'Tis the season, everyone's got a little bit of something going on. But I didn't want to miss a scheduled post. So again, like clockwork, I appear, I talk, I ramble. I give you fine folks something to listen to for at least a couple minutes every week. And with that, let's get into it. Last week I wrapped up with watching 1917, so that if you're looking for a reference from week to week, that's where I ended. This week, I finally got my homeroom setup projector screen with a speaker kind of going in my bedroom. So I figured I had to screen something. I started with When Harry Met Sally, again from 1989. I've seen this before. I liked it before. I liked it this time. He has terrible hair and she has really nice hair. I've seen that comment before from someone and I thought it was pretty funny. Uh, it is definitely a comfort watch. It's very cozy. There's not a whole lot of like tense moments. There's not a whole lot of stress. It is the classic, more rom-commy. But what I like about it is 90% of the movie they just spend really just as friends, kind of trying to navigate being Signal and just uh, hanging out in New York. There's lots of silhouette scenes of just them walking around and chatting throughout like the autumn time. I feel like this is very much a autumn movie. So if you're looking for something to watch for this time of year, I would recommend this. You can rent it from a few spots for a couple bucks. I just picked it up from the local library for free. Another one is Billy Crystal's sweater. I feel like everyone has talked about this at some point. It is akin to the sweater, the cable knit sweater that Chris Evans wears in Knives Out. They're both fantastic. I both think they are something that I definitely want to find somewhere as a thrift, or even if I had to, you know, toss over a bit of money for. Either way, they're super nice. And yeah, I gave this a 4 out of 5. You know, it's not like peak cinema, but just a very solid watch. Like I don't come away from this not enjoying it. Most everyone I know who has seen this has either at least liked it, if not loved it. And that's how I started my week. So if you need something to kind of ease into, that's what I would kind of recommend. From there, I stayed in 1989 and I watched the original Batman, the movie, the Tim Burton one with Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton. Do I like this? I don't know. I understand why it's important, and I understand that they went from like the super campy Adam West Batman to something at least a little bit more theatrical and like foreboding and ominous. There's a couple of shots of Michael Keaton's cowl that are really nice in this, and I think Jack Nicholson is actually a really fun, cool Joker. But there's still so much camp to it that I can't. Not, I have a hard time getting into it, and I like Michael Keaton, but I don't like Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne slash Batman. I just don't. I don't think it's good. The hairline, the amount of time that he spends on screen as Bruce Wayne versus Batman, or even him on screen in general, it's almost not a Batman movie. It's there's so much more Jack Nicholson than anything else, I feel like. So I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. Obviously, I know that it is widely regarded as a good movie. You're welcome to your own opinion. If we disagree, well, sucks to suck. Um, yeah, that was my second watch of the week. From When Harry Met Sally, then to Batman. Then I jumped ahead about like 20 years or so, 2011, and I watched Source Code. I think I've seen this before. I don't really remember. This was on Hulu. It's a tight movie. It's only like, I want to say it's like 100 minutes or something like that. Jake Gyllenhaal. It's basically Groundhog Day, but with like a little more stress, a little more like interesting twist. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I gave it a 4 out of 5. Do I want more of it? No, I think it was perfectly wrapped up in the space it took. I don't have a ton to say about it. Trying to do something, even if it's not succeeding at that, that's, just something interesting to mix it up a little bit with. From there, I watched Columbus. This is from 2017. I like this. If you don't know what it is, it's slow, it's calm, it's very beautifully shot. John Cho plays the son of a architect who's like in town to make sure his father, who I think he's in a coma. They don't really specify what's going on specifically with him. And that's him befriending this young girl who doesn't really know what she's doing, but she also likes architect. It's just obviously like worlds collide, um, but it's not. It's very much a slow, quiet. I don't know. I felt calm watching it, for lack of a better word. The buildings and everything are beautiful. All the shots are beautiful. I feel like it could have been more impactful to me. Maybe I'm just not the target audience. Maybe I need to rewatch. Maybe I need to read about it before I watch it. Um, yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's probably more there than what I'm giving it. I don't think it was a widely released movie. I think it was only a limited release. So not a lot of people I know about it. And it's not like huge names in it. You'd recognize the main girl from White Lotus. The main guy, John Cho. I mean, that's Harold Kumar. He did Star Trek. He's done a few things, but he's never been like the guy. But I'm glad I watched it. That was another one that I just picked up from the library. I don't think it's really available anywhere else except for a physical DVD. And from there, for just a bit of a palate cleanse, for lack of a better word, I watched Armageddon from 1998, the Michael Bay, there's a giant meteor coming to Earth and we need to blow it up kind of movie. The reason I rewatched this, because at my work, there's a couple TVs on, and there's always some sort of movie on. And for whatever reason, this is a movie that is constantly getting replayed on TV. And I only catch little snippets, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should actually just sit down and watch this. Is it good? I would say it's fun. It's good. I wouldn't say it's a great or perfect or even close to perfect movie. Liv Tyler, you might recognize her. I mean, she's been in lots of things, but many people know her from like Lord of the Rings as the main elf chick. Um, Bruce Willis, not Matt Damon, excuse me, Ben Affleck, the other one of the duo. There's Steve Buscemi. Uh, I think it's Michael Clark Duncan. There's several. I mean, Owen Wilson is briefly in it. Spoiler alert. Granted, this is from over 25 years ago. Uh, it's a good cast. It's a fun cast. It's a fun movie. She is such a waste of space in this. She's there just to be like this romantic interest that's just crying and being hysterical the whole time. Does not work. But every once in a while, Michael Bay, I don't know, it actually kind of works. I wouldn't put him in my top 5 directors, but every once in a while, it kind of hits the spot. Is it very much of the time? And is there way more outer space explosions than probably needed? Sure. But sometimes just a little bit of like escapism is okay with me. So I gave it a 3 out of 5, perfectly adequate. Nothing inherently crazy wrong with it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to be like, oh, you need to watch 1998 Armageddon. Um, but from there, I jumped ahead 20 years to 2018, and I watched Green Book. This is a rewatch for me. I knew I liked this, and I liked it just as much the second time around. If you don't know it, it won Best Picture. No, awards don't really mean, or shouldn't really mean anything or everything to anyone. But I think it's well befitting the movie. It's a period piece. If you know me, you know that I like period pieces, especially set around the 50s and 60s. The music is fantastic. The outfits are fantastic. Um, And the acting, both Viggo Mortensen as Tony Lip and Mahershala Ali, the guy who's been for the longest time pegged as being the next Blade to replace the ones from the 80s or the early 2000s, whatever. He plays a like concert pianist that Viggo Mortensen is driving around on tour. Super good. I think it's a little on the nose about the whole like deep South racism stuff at the time. I'm okay with that. Some people want something a little bit more not on the nose for that. I don't know, dissuade from the rest of the movie where all the piano music, the outfits, just a lot of the cinematography is really pretty. I've I've recommended this to many people, so I think this is kind of broadly recommendable because it's not so specific about its themes and story that it's relatable to a lot of different people. I rated this 4.5 out of 5. Maybe not perfect. I don't really know what I'd change. There's a couple little heavy moments that are like, we get it, dude. You can act, kind of thing. Um, Maybe that's what I don't know. I felt weird giving it a 5 out of 5, but it's pretty damn close. Um, so if you haven't seen that, again, I don't think it's streamable. It's rentable pretty much everywhere. Again, I just picked it up from the library for free. Side note: the library, kind of an untapped, great resource if you're into any kind of media or anything that you can't find for free. And a lot of the stuff is readily available. Like, I requested like 35 movies that were on my watch list because I couldn't find them streamable anywhere. And within like 4 days, all of them were like ready for pickup with my name on them. The trade-off is now I have a lot of movies to watch in quick succession, so I don't incur any fines, but c'est la vie. If you ever are looking for, man, I don't know what to get Duncan for his birthday or Christmas, if you can find a way to know my sizes and get me outfits like from this movie, ooh, ooh, baby, sign me up. I will show up night and day for people like that. Sidetrack done. I wrapped up this week. Again, not a ton of movies, but at least there was. I feel like it was a good amount this week. Uh, and life happens as per usual. I watched Reign of Fire. This is from 2002. This I feel like went super under the radar. No one knows about it. It's got big names in it, and it should have been a big movie, and it just wasn't. This is about dragons. It's got Christian Bale. It's Matthew McConaughey. There's a little sprinkle of Gerald Butler. Like, it was a pretty good blending of like CGI dragons and then like real uh, effects on site. And it was a cool idea of like dragons living underneath London that are getting woken up, and it's like it was cool. And I remember it being cool. Rewatching, it's okay. For some reason, I thought it'd be better. The ending, not to again, I don't want to say spoil it, considering it was this point 22 years ago, but this ending is super underwhelming. Like, they're building up this whole thing to go find this like last male dragon that fertilizes all the other dragons in the world that have just kind of consumed mankind, and it's over in like not even 10 minutes. Do I think the acting is good? Yes. And all the other things I just said? Yes. But the ending did leave a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. I think I probably gave it probably like a 2.5. Yeah, I gave it a 2.5. Um, yeah, for all that build up, I feel like there could have been done. More could have been done with it. So that's kind of why I ended there. And that's more or less what I watched this week, folks. Um, Obviously, you're going to hear a little bit more in depth stuff on the Movie Bros podcast. And we are breaking down next that will be released. We've already recorded, we're just slowly releasing them. Next will be not National Treasure, Jesus, we already did that. Treasure Planet. And then from there, I believe we're doing 3 billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri. From there, we'll go to the Meg. I think that's the order we're at. I don't know where we'll go from there. If you have suggestions for that podcast or even this one, things I should watch, things my brother and I should watch and talk about, either of the two, there's comment sections on Spotify and on Instagram for a reason. Come and have a chat with us there. There's DMs for a reason. Shoot us a note. If I sound again a little funky, a little raspy today, I do apologize. Again, my throat's all clogged up. I've been getting rid of all the lovely phlegm as much as I can, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. If you are curious about what else I've watched recently, you can look backwards on Spotify. You can also look backwards on Instagram. I've tried to keep a fairly good log of what's been happening recently. You can also check me out on Letterboxd. That's where I kind of log all my movies. That's at Duncan8Donuts. Otherwise, thanks for listening, whatever time it is that you're listening. If you can, share it with a friend. And I'll see you folks next week.